So you probably heard it rains a lot here in the Northwest, and Salem is no exception to that. Today we're going to talk about how all this rain is going to affect where you decide to buy a home and really how you enjoy the outdoors here in Salem. Stick around, you don't want to miss this. So Leslie, the water and the rain here is a big deal.
Yep.
On average, Salem gets 42 inches of rain per year, which is a little bit higher than the national average of 39 inches, which is kind of surprising. I thought Salem would be way above the national average, but 42 inches, it's a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah, so what are we going to do? Where's all this water going?
Well, you know, so Salem it's prone to annual flooding because we have three causes of flooding.
Okay.
In Salem, we have the Willamette River that we're walking along right now, and it is super full. And actually last week, this paved trail that we were on was covered. You couldn't access it.
Oh, yeah. You can tell by all the massive amounts of mud that we have.
Yeah. So if one of us slips and falls, it's going to be
filmed and it's going to be great.
We'll turn our video into a mud wrestling one.
Oh gosh.
About
okay, that's a whole different platform. Okay, so Leslie, how much of Salem is in a flood zone?
Well, we have about 4,000 acres and approximately 3,000 parcels.
Okay.
That are either located in a partial floodplain or like fully located inside like a floodplain.
And these are mostly located, I've noticed, in central Salem and then kind of where we are here South Salem along the Willamette River.
Because we have a lot of tributary. We have obviously the Willamette River, and then we have tons of small tributaries and streams that are susceptible to annual flooding every year.
Yeah, and what does that mean when it comes to purchasing your home here?
Well, if you're going to be a first-time home buyer and you're using any kind of like
government loan.
Yep.
Yeah, this can flood insurance. I mean, it varies depending on what risk zone you're in.
Yep.
But typically, it's probably about the same as your hazard insurance, maybe even more. So if you're kind of right along that debt to income ratio limit, and then you also have to get flood insurance.
Something dripped on me, sorry.
Something's gonna drip on you sometimes here. All the time. It'll put you over that limit, and then you might not be able to afford the home that you wanted. So it's definitely something to look out for.
Yeah, and you know, there's 100-year floodplains, 500-year floodplains. They'll have risk, but you know, and also too, you know, there's no such thing as a no risk like flood zone because flooding can happen pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, totally.
And 1 in 4 claims, I think, 1 in 4 insurance claims, homeowners insurance claims, are from flooding that happened in a non-floodplain. So
yeah, that's right. So even if you're not going to be moving directly into a floodplain, you definitely want to make sure that if this is something that you're worried about, that you're not right along the edge of the floodplain, because it could totally get you too. It
will change, yeah. After a couple of years, it'll change because FEMA always like kind of revisits their maps and their boundaries and stuff. And if it does change, your lender will contact you to let you know that you are now going to have to pay flood insurance.
Yeah, so watch out for that. If you really like the outdoors and you're going to go to one of our beautiful parks and you think, oh, it's just going to be like any other day, we're just going to get our walk in.
Be able to do the route we want to do.
Yeah. After
no problem.
A nice rainstorm, we're walking.
And
you might not quite get what you're looking for. We are about at the end of our walk here. We're about, I don't know, a mile into Minto Brown, and we can no longer proceed because
ta-da!
We got this nice little,
it's like a pond.
Now a lake.
Yeah.
That used to be one of our trails here. So now we got to turn around and retrace our steps, go back a mile to our car.
Yeah. So
that's kind of what you get.
Yeah, it is definitely what you get here. I think actually I was surprised. I honestly got farther than I thought we were going to get.
We did, yeah.
If we'd come last week, we wouldn't have even probably been able to do this.
Yeah, last week we had that atmospheric river. Yeah. And that probably we would have not even been able to walk like a quarter mile without running into one of these.
Right, right. you would have your waders on again.
Yep. So yeah, if you have a pair of waders,
you're good to go.
Yeah. Hanging around, put those suckers on and take to the parks.
Yep.
Even though a lot of these places like that, I don't think you'd even be able to get through with waders.
You think that's that deep? Probably, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
It's probably at least waist deep.
Hey, if you're finding this information useful, feel free to reach out to Leslie and I. We are location specialists. We'll keep you out of the water. We'll put you in the water.
Whichever you want.
Whichever you want.
And if you are liking this information, then follow us, because we will be putting out more videos about what it's like to live, work, and play in Salem.
That's right.
Such a goofball.
Also follow us on Instagram. Same name, yeah. Salem Oregon Living. It's a little bit different than what we do here. We talk more about local businesses and lifestyle in Salem.
It's fun.
Yep. Do it.
Okay, so Rudy.
Yes.
You have grown up here. You were once a little itty bitty whittle Woody.
Yep.
Growing up here.
Yep. Back in 1999.
Wow.
That's when I was born.
Makes me feel so freaking old. Yeah. Anyway, tell me about the floods that have happened here that you remember. Okay. I know there's been some.
There have been a few. The last kind of big one we had was in 2012. It's not quite as big as the ones we had previous to that, but it mostly impacted South Salem. And that's kind of a thing here. The rains, they might not affect the entire city. You might be shit out of luck over in South Salem or North Salem, else. Or the whole city. Yeah. But 2012, mostly South Salem. And, you know, businesses are going to be impacted. They're going to be closed. You're going to see them sandbag up their perimeter so no water comes in, damaging things. You're going to see road closures. So if you do have to go anywhere, you know, be sure to maybe check in with ODOT. And
even City of Salem probably will have like information up on their website about what streets are closed, things like that.
They absolutely will. So it's just another preparation thing. And then previous to that, we had one in 96. I don't remember a whole lot of it, but it was very, very substantial. Lots of personal property damage, lots of business damage, lots of infrastructure damage.
That was mostly the whole city on that one, right? Was affected, right?
The entire city. So yeah, you just want to make sure that you are well prepared as you can be. If you have a basement in one of these areas or a crawl space, that's likely going to be impacted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if you have a sump pump, or if you live in one of these areas and you don't have one, you should probably install one, because it's going to save you a lot of money in the long run.
Yeah. They'll probably, a house that's in a floodplain, that's a pretty high risk floodplain and has a high water table, probably would already have one installed at home.
You would think so.
But there's some older homes that just, they don't.
Yeah, I did buy a home that's not in a floodplain, but it's over off of State Street by Corden Road. And it doesn't have a sump pump in it. The crawl space gets water. You can see like
water
the wood
line
down there, water lines.
God.
So I'm gonna have to get sump pumps for that eventually.
Yep.
Right now I'm kind of pressing my luck with that.
Oh, you are totally pressing your luck. Yep. Oh my goodness. It's cold.
Yeah. So outside of 96 and 2012, we also had a huge one in 1964, which was even bigger than these past two.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So big it caused the sewage plant to be inoperable, and then raw sewage flowed into the Willamette River. So if you ever think about maybe swimming in it, maybe think twice, because this happens not only during that flood, but it's happened before.
Yeah, it's happened before. Yeah,
multiple times.
Yeah, and in that flood, didn't the Willamette River like rise up, like
crested like 10 feet above? Yep.
Yeah, that would be huge.
And 20 people lost their lives here in Salem due to that flood. So the flood in 1964 also cost $154 million in damages to businesses, infrastructure, everything, which in today's money would be right above $1 billion. So very substantial. Previous to that, we had a couple more.
Had one in 1861 and also in 90.
So we've had 5 of these 100-year floods in the last 150 years. So I'm thinking maybe FEMA should change the zones to maybe 25-year flood event
Or 50
and
or
then
something.
150 or yeah, something
like that.
Yeah, but
because it's obvious it's happening a lot more often.
Yeah, a lot more than just 1 in 100
what they
years.
predict.
Yeah, so it's be vigilant.
Yes.
When it comes to flood safety.
Know your safety tips and you know what to do if you do purchase in a flood zone and how to keep yourself and your property safe.
Yes.
Hope you found this video helpful today and learned something about flood zones and having a house in a flood zone and keeping yourself safe, your property safe. Click on the next video on the screen so you can continue to learn more about what it's like to live, work, and play in Salem, Oregon. And make sure to give us a call and a follow if you're thinking about moving to Salem.